We're all ready?
Yes, we're ready.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Town of McCandless Planning Commission for February 3rd, 2026. The first item that we need to address is the approval of our last meeting, January 6th minutes. Are there any comments, questions, edits from anybody on the minutes?
I just appreciate the detail that was put in, particularly the captain's discussion really well.
Yeah, much better than in the past.
Yeah, very notable.
Good. Good for the minutes.
Thank you, Wanda.
All right. Can I have a motion to approve the January 6th minutes? So moved. Sean, so moved. Second?
Second.
Second from Shelley, I think it came from. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. So the approval of the January 6th minutes. Now on the new business. Glacier Drive subdivision plan number 5, amendment number 8, mortgage subdivision. We've seen this before.
Jimmy Sperduti on behalf of DR Horton, the builder. You're familiar with the process that we've gone through in the last few buildings. Progression on the sales has picked up and they are officially sold out. So in this case, we've added the 2 buildings that have not been started yet to this plan, so we don't have to try to rush in here to get something done ahead of a closing. So this will be hopefully our last submission to you with regards to this development. We're proposing 5 units out of the building that's under construction. That's the building that backs up closest to where we're at right now. And then there's 2 4-unit buildings that have not been started, but are also represented on this plan. Again, none of these units, all these units were accounted for in the original approval, and we're just formalizing their lot lines based on the building construction and location of the party wall.
So from the standpoint of the residential, you would be built out with this application.
Well, this will establish all the lots that are to be built.
Right.
There's still buildings to be built, but this will establish the party walls. So I won't need to come back again. Typically, we've done them based on as-built construction. Because of the pace of the sales, we've worked it out with the builder. Well, we will
Submittals more lots that will be built.
not as part of my task. I can't answer that. I do not know that.
Because the commercial was still out
Yeah.
of question.
Yeah, that's beyond
Yeah.
my scope.
I ask about it every time. I wish we could get some sort of an answer as to what's going to happen on the commercial side.
So after the meeting that we had last time, there's somebody in the building here that is not here anymore. Who was
Lucas?
Lucas.
Mhm.
After that meeting, the last meeting, I had sent Lucas an email with the developer saying that I expressed your concern about what was going to happen with the commercial, that they should communicate. And basically said, it doesn't involve me, but there are questions being asked. I don't know if that had ever materialized.
You haven't seen that, I guess.
I haven't spoken to that specific developer since that meeting though.
And the developer that developed these lots and that developer are 2 different entities.
Right.
No, I know that's the problem. It's,
Yes.
we can't seem to get,
And we are just reviewing the application that was submitted for
Right.
PLC 26-0.
absolutely, I know. So, is there any public comment concerning what's happening in this, on Blazer Drive? Anything from the commission? Hearing none, okay. I need a motion to recommend the town council approve PLC 26-05, which is the Blazer Drive subdivision plan number 5, amendment number 8, mortgage subdivision, as submitted by Sperduti Land Surveying.
I like the enunciation. That's good.
Okay, give it a try.
It made me sound important.
Guys, it sounded like it was so moved.
So move. Second?
Second.
Second from Sean. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None opposed.
Thank you very much. As a matter of procedure, previously we had taken signed plans to Gateway. Gateway would bring them over. I believe that's changed.
Yeah, so typically you'll drop off the plans for municipal signature. We'll get it coordinated with Gateway and then we will release the plan to you.
Okay, they'll be here tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Next item of new business, PLC 26-06. The Ridge Plan of Lots, revision number 1, lot line revision, block lot 1071E80. And a presentation? Welcome. Give your name and
Yes, sir. I don't know if this honor, I'll just talk super loud. My name is John Wright with LSSE. We're here tonight. The plan in front of you, I just got just a simple highlight for you. Basically, actually, Mr. Sperduti is one of the folks that found it when they got ready to start selling the lots and back checked. There was just an error in typing on one of the lots, so it was 5 feet too long for lot one. So the plan in front of you, LSSE, we're kind of handling on our own to come in front of you folks to get the plan to fix that erroneous thing to make sure it's correct. Doesn't affect any of the other adjacent properties. So that's basically it. I don't wish I had more for you, but that's what it's just to fix that error.
Can I just ask to understand?
Yes, ma'am.
The lot line itself is not changing. There was a numerical measurement on.
The lot line's going to change because
Okay.
it is 5 foot off. Yeah, yeah. That's why we have to do a new plan and we have to do everything within that. Yes, ma'am. Yep.
okay. Seems like pretty simple
Yes.
issue.
Yep. We appreciate having it in front of you. So,
Does this impact the property that had the tree issue back there?
yeah, this is the property. I actually did the tree survey on that back there, but it's literally just the imaginary line that's on there. So
Do we have any idea how the folks who own the lots behind feel on this?
now that wasn't part of my skills that I can, if that's a question you want me to forward over to the next meeting, I can help you out, but yeah, there was no discussion on that.
As I recall, now that you bring it up.
Yeah.
We were gonna keep some trees.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Does this lot line move mean that we are not gonna keep those trees?
No, that it won't have that effect on the.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's moving the lot line, but the tree issue, which was the issue, as I understand, the people
Correct.
wanted to retain the trees.
Correct.
Those trees will be retained.
They got me a good answer on this one. So to my knowledge, the moving of this property line has nothing to do with the grading. So the grading was changed to make sure that we were taking care of the trees back there. They had almost like a little park area. They were playing with their kids with a zip line, I think is what they had back there. So, but in terms of the trees, I can't tell you right off the bat that this property line is going to have anything impact to that, but the grading that was associated was pulled back off of there. So either way, if those trees aren't on this property line, they're not getting touched, they're still on the property line, they won't be touched based on our previous.
And I can clarify too, just from perspective of process, the ridge plan revision, this revision is just to the lot line, so.
Yeah.
Nothing changes in the previous approval, other than just the imaginary lot line for lot one, which is being revised through this application.
So there's no grading change that
There's-
on what was approved.
There's
previously.
there's still a previously granted approval for the ridge development. This is just a revision to this lot line.
It's not the issue, but I'm gonna ask it anyway.
So-
What's the development plan? When are homes gonna start going? I see one, foundation, I think.
Yeah, no, that's a great question.
That's not you?
That's on me. No, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did all the engineering and the layout of the plan, but in terms of the developer, I think it's Infinity Homes, correct? Is building out there. Yeah, I think that's who you got the contract. Yeah.
Best I can tell, you can't really see much from the road, but there is at least one foundation, I think, going up.
Yeah, I believe you're correct on that. Yeah. I
That
know the
might be a
grade-
display home or something. I don't know.
Correct.
Okay, all right. Is there any public comment concerning this 5-foot change on the ridge? Anything from the commission?
Kelly, your comment letter didn't have any concerns or?
Correct, yeah, we did not have any concerns with the plan. Usually we recommend if there's any comments from Allegheny County that those be taken into consideration at the discretion of the town.
And I can note that we did receive comments from Allegheny County at 3:00 today.
Okay.
And
That's why I didn't see it.
yes,
Yeah.
that's, the county has been backed up this whole year
Correct.
of all their plans. Any of the comments that are on there have been added to the planning commission folder so that they all can be reviewed. The comments are minor.
All right.
And generally, whenever Allegheny County does give reviews, they'll typically comment on, vagaries to the zoning ordinance because they are looking at every zoning ordinance in municipal or in the county.
Correct. Yeah. So yeah, if you see anything forward, I could get it back to you tomorrow if you find something. So.
I just, a general comment.
Yes, sir.
Right, so last year, we saw the runoff, we had the rain this spring and all the runoff that came from, it, right? Now we have snow.
Right.
So we get a combination of rain and snow. Are there any steps that have been made to do better mitigation than last year?
Like I said, I would have to apologize. It's Len Smith, it's out of their hand. The only thing our job, we do have a role in terms of the MPDS observations. So anytime they do any critical items, we have to be on site and do that. We were there for the ponds. In terms of that, best thing to do would be call Maria or somebody down at Conservation District. They'll go up and take care of anything. So I have to really apologize. I wish I could help.
Well, so last year they were under construction and they had silt
Yeah,
fences and everything
Yeah.
up, so it
Both
was,
got blown
Yeah.
through.
you established the slopes now, you have,
yeah. Again, to my
the
knowledge.
slopes are established now,
Yes,
not.
I would, and I can speak to this too. I was out there doing a punch list a few weeks ago, walked the full development. The rear hillside, that was the big slope where some trees were removed, that is fully stabilized now. Where there are some disturbed areas still underway, there is still some silt sock in place there. And then all of the inlets within the roadway system are still, they're being directed to the basin itself as well. So the roadway runoff should be still be going to the basin in the sediment phase. So now that it's an established site, if there is runoff, it shouldn't be to the same degree. Now that there's, no exposed dirt on that back hillside.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of developments got crushed in the spring.
Yeah.
We all know.
I'll just give it. Now we got snow.
Yeah, on top of
And
that.
I remember what it used to be like,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, we got
And
two on
it
construction.
melts at some point, so.
Yeah, melt and freeze and melt. Yeah, we have 200 construction right now. They're are absolute nightmares. So
Yeah, well, 2 weeks from now, it's gonna rain, so snow and rain are really bad.
So, appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Any other comments? All right, we need a motion to recommend town council approve PLC 26-06, the Ridge Plan of Lots, revision number 1, lot line revision, as submitted by the Ridge Pittsburgh LP. Such motion?
Did we do public comment?
Yeah.
Okay, I missed it. Sorry, there was
I'll
so,
move.
there was so much.
Okay.
The additional caveat or contingency that I believe the comment we made on the original approval, that the town was not taking a position into whatever property rights dispute may have been ongoing between this development and the adjoining landowner. This approval is not us saying who wins or who loses in any fashion with that. Because I think that there was a boundary issue at some point.
It's in our original approval, I
Yeah,
think.
that'd just be-
They're like, yeah,
Doing the same.
you want to
thing.
reinstate it,
Okay, I
yeah.
think that's a fair
Yeah.
comment.
I-
So the approval is subject to no implication one way or the other as to the potential property owner dispute concerning that lot line. Okay. So moved by Brendan, second,
I'll second.
Mark, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you
First
very
time
much.
Good to be in front of you, so I appreciate that.
It's for the,
Oh,
that's right.
Yeah. That's a loss. Yeah.
Old business. Again, how do you want to?
Sure.
You just want to state what your,
Yeah, I can state, the town received, on February 2nd, roughly around 3 o'clock, the town received a tabling request from McCandless Dental Care for item PLC 2604 to the March Planning Commission meeting. And can you confirm that we have to accept that request from the applicant?
Also allow time for public, anyone did want to speak about this.
okay. Well,
One quick question on the tabling. This is gonna hold any of the dates.
Yeah, what tabling does is essentially that MPC timeline is getting
So-
pushed back.
right.
That's all that this
So
tabling.
they've just pushed their timeline
Yeah.
back and they haven't forced our hand.
Correct. They're requesting more time to adequately address engineering comments from the town engineer.
so there is no presentation as was just stated, but is there any public comment from anyone?
I believe we'd have to, would we make a request to table prior to any comment? Or either way is fine, okay, you can
All right.
continue then.
Any public comment? Ladies? No? All right. Then let's have, we have to approve this tabling?
It would be an acceptance, it would be a motion to accept the
Okay.
table request for PLC 26-04 McCandless Dental Care preliminary and final land development walk/lot 944C342.
So moved.
Second.
Second from Shelley. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No opposition. It is tabled. The next item on the agenda is the sign ordinance review. Now, we've talked a little bit about this last time. But anything more we want to?
Sure, and I can kind of give a overview. There are copies of the draft sign ordinance if you don't have if nobody has a copy on the front desk there. After taking the comments and the discussion from the last planning commission meeting, town staff has put together a draft ordinance for our review, our being the planning commission's review. The difference between what was presented and what is included within this ordinance, there's two differences from what was presented and what was included. The first would be, and I will direct you to the section 1305130 F under abandoned sign removal. This is essentially would allow the town to say that if a business is advertising and that business terminates, that it gives the town basically the legal means to require that they remove the advertising of that business that's no longer on site within 60 days of the termination of the business.
We did discuss that the last time.
That was
It was
it was not
Yeah.
added, so this was formally added.
Yep.
And then the other, basically what was removed from this was the on-premise sign regulations. After discussion with, with the planning commission and from some public comment, we decided to take a look at the on-premise sign regulations whenever we look at the actual zoning ordinance, because through that discussion, there may be we may be looking at the zoning map. So we didn't want to adjust on-premise regulations if we're possibly going to be adjusting some of the, the zoning regulations for the MN district. So rather than, and that was kind of the highlight of the on-premise discussion. So rather than adjust that, we are just going to basically take this draft ordinance as a cleanup and then addressing what was discussed on the off-premise sign protection issue that we discussed at length last meeting.
It's being kicked down the road.
Essentially,
Or the bigger considerations.
we're pushing it down the road so that we can make more of a
Yep, comprehensive. Yep.
comprehensive and educated decision on how.
Did I do that?
Maybe it's me. Sorry.
No,
if
it
I
might
did.
have been- you're fine.
Got it, I know.
I had a question for Matt, which I communicated to him by text or email today, which he clarified, but I still have a question and it's a follow-up. In the table, which is in 1305.150, off-premise sign regulation B, and then the table follows. Under item number 5, it says maximum length 60 feet. What signs, are these signs that are up on the building could be 60 feet wide?
This is for off-premise sign regulations. So these are billboards. These are just off-premise. So if you have a parcel that is advertising something that is not on that lot, it's an off-premise sign.
Okay, but if there's 60 feet is big. If it's 60 feet wide, how tall does it have to be to still meet the square footage requirements? It's gonna have to be pretty darn skinny. And I can't picture a 60-foot wide off-premise sign. That's a big sign.
64? No, it's monument.
That would be
64 feet, right? Square feet? Is
That's
the-
only,
it would be
8 by 8.
that 60 feet would be the length of the sign for I'm assuming that would be for, the maximum would be for a pole sign. I mean, you're still, that is something that is in the current sign regulation and is not being adjusted. If it's something that we'd have to,
Well, I just don't understand it.
yeah, let me,
if it needs to be adjusted, maybe we should, but I'm picturing one of these, digital signs that is 60 feet wide, which is huge. And I'm trying to picture what else this could be addressing.
yeah, let me just confirm.
This goes beyond digital. This is just.
Well, I used it, maybe that's, but even any sign, even a static sign, 60 feet wide that's wider than this room, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up.
That was sound.
All right, let's see.
Yeah, it would be a 3 foot high.
Well,
sign,
yeah,
200 feet, yeah.
I don't know. There may be something that it applies to, but I can't
Yeah,
picture what it would be.
And that's something I can look into. It's not, I can say this, being in this town, working as a zoning officer for the last 7 months. We haven't ran into an issue with where max length has come into play. I would say that at least in terms of, the requirements for the signs, that max area for signs, like that would always trump, a length. But as I wasn't part of the, adoption of this code, I can't necessarily speak. And I just looked in the actual definitions. And it doesn't look like max length is defined, which some things are defined in this code and
Is
some
length
things are not. Let me see. Length is not defined.
But area, it's. Sign area. Yes.
Yeah, the sign area makes sense.
Length is almost redundant because in that business, what everybody looks at is
Square
sign
footage.
height.
Yeah.
And area.
I can say
Those are the
I've,
two things
I've
you
never
look for.
in my entire career of reviewing sign permits and applications, I've never once looked at a sign and reviewed a maximum length and had to make I can't even remember in the previous codes I've worked in having a max length.
I guess what we're saying is technically with how it's written, someone could submit a 60-foot wide sign that's 3.5 feet tall.
Yeah.
That technically meets the area, max length and max sign height requirements.
Which I
I don't
don't
know that that's ever gonna happen, but
think,
that's
something, I don't think it's something we want.
Yeah, and I'm curious to. I don't
It's the
know,
only one that
max-
has a maximum length. Everything else is NA.
I don't remember talking about that
Yeah,
when we.
Me either. Me either. There's NA in the chart for the other districts for length.
I think it's worth looking at, Matt, maybe other zoning codes.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you I have, and I maximum
I
length
mean, I
is
don't, I
not.
think it almost could be deleted.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like it to me, but
Yeah,
I thought maybe there's something I'm just not imagining, and I tried to imagine everything possible.
Kelly, do you have any recollection? I know you weren't probably part of that, but anything that you could.
No, I don't, unfortunately.
That's all right.
I think it might have
Um,
been an oversight.
And
actually.
that could, I mean, this could be one of those items where, we're thinking about now, and it's something that we could, they might have had thought about this in a different scenario whenever they adopted this, and now we're looking at it and it doesn't make sense, and that could be something that we clean up. I'll say at the very minimum, this has been the approved zoning code for the signs since 2023. So I'll say
Then you haven't had.
there hasn't been any issues. I don't foresee any business owner coming in with a 3 foot by 60 foot
I don't either, but
sign.
it seems so ridiculous to me. The thing to do would be to take it out, but I don't know what is involved in taking it out.
Yeah, because the other thing is if you're thinking about a 60 foot length sign and we're talking a pole sign only, I don't even know how that would be possible to construct that as a structure. Like 60 feet of length and then a single pole, because you can't have multiple structural beams with the pole sign. But I mean, I definitely can review it. I would say that at least in terms of, if you want my professional opinion, I don't see this being a detriment to the town. But if as we've discussed it tonight, I definitely think that we could consider it for removal and possible cleanup.
That would be my recommendation, and you can, if whatever we run into to try to make that happen, I don't know, but if something doesn't make sense, I don't see the reason to keep it in.
And is it possible to, like, if let's say there was something that needed edited, but the planning commission felt that there was enough here to make a motion to council, is that something that?
Actually just about to.
Okay.
Interject. So if the commission agrees, and there's a consensus that you are recommending approval aside from the removal of that 60 feet maximum length, you can make that recommendation to council. And the town council will review that recommendation, and they have the ability to remove that 60 feet.
Oh, okay.
So that's, you were able to do that.
Not too late.
Obviously, that gets
Yeah.
messy if you have a lot of changes, if you have one minor thing, that's no issue.
And that's kind of, I mean, at the end of the day, this is the planning commission, this is where these type of reviews would occur, so that whenever it gets to the town council, they can make, an adequate decision on what they are the ruling body.
It appeared intentional by the way it's written here, but T was not part of this, and I don't know
Yeah.
why. So town council, they might have some insight as to why that's there and some understanding, and so.
And I can do in the meantime, I can do research in my director report when this would get brought to town council, can include information that I can find, if I can find any, about the maximum length and how that relates and what the intention of that was, so that they can make, the best possible decision.
All right. So what's our next administrative to move that we accept and recommend approval of this sign ordinance?
You wanna add that condition?
With that
the-
condition,
You would
yeah.
add that.
The 60 feet
I
being considered
Okay,
for
we have
removal.
another point.
I would, definitely
that's fine.
comments.
I hate to do this. But I'm sitting here. 130 1305.130 F. The abandoned sign removal. My concern is activities. There are signs advertising places of business which terminate operations shall be removed within 60 days of such termination. I'm okay. But if there's a disjunctive or signed advertising activities which terminate operation shall be removed, or signs advertising places of business whose activities change. I mean, you could conceivably have an activity location. They no longer do that, but they still conduct other business operations. And I could read that to require the removal of a sign, even if something else they might want to advertise for continues on and is not just a defunct locale.
So, I totally understand where you're coming from there. In terms of the wording, I think this was taken from a neighboring municipality, maybe the verbiage. Bolstering this to, I mean, the intention of this is for an on-premise sign. If you're saying, I have a McDonald's and that McDonald's goes out of business, I want them to be forced to remove the big M that says McDonald's. They can't remove the structure of their building, but anything that is a symbol to that on-premise, that's what that removal is supposed to be.
So it's the business, really, not the activity.
Yeah, it's that.
Great.
And so I do think that reading it with that mindset that this could be worded, adjusted to essentially, if we could put the wording of on-premise signs and essentially say, on-premise signs, something along the lines of that, saying that, an on-premise sign that ceases operations of business must terminate within 60 days. That's the intent of the ordinance. If I don't know, if from what I'm understanding that you're saying is that you were reading it as this could be overbearing from what we're intending, correct?
Yeah, so I have two comments there. The first of which is if we just hypothetically say that or activities is deleted. Just say signs advertising places of business which terminate operation shall be removed within 60 days of such termination. I'm okay with that. The question that I have, however, is that this abandoned sign removal is a general requirement, which would apply to on-premise and off-premise, right?
Yeah, anything that's permitted.
So then you get into this parade of horribles that we have a billboard, an off-premise sign which advertises somewhere that terminates operations, it contemplates the whole sign being removed. You kind of get a ridiculousness.
Right.
He was advertising to this place, the place went out of business.
Mhm.
Now do we have to take the whole billboard down because it once advertised for this?
No, but you change the face.
Yeah, the face would need to be
Yeah.
changed, but no, we can't require them to remove
Yeah.
the structure and
Right.
it's unsafe.
Right, but like, it doesn't say just change the face, it says like sign. And so my concern
It's the
is,
sign. Theoretically, on a billboard, the face is the
This,
sign.
basically the sign, the face, there's the structure and then the sign. So I think what you're basically saying is it needs to clarify that we're saying that the advertising portion of your sign
The
is
message.
the messaging of your sign is what we're having be removed.
Correct.
And I do agree that activities section, I think that is convoluted as well. So my recommendation would be that we remove, like you said, that or activities and can basically adjust this to essentially the on-premise signs and then written to, to be for the advertising of the sign. So we could reword that to, I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know the word.
Premise here.
So this would be just for basically an on-premise sign. Because it's advertising the place of a business.
So when we look at cleaning up, we can address the fact that a billboard is no longer operational because they don't have a face on it.
Yeah, and I think this is more like what this is that if a business ends, if a business ceases operations, we need to have some type of action.
Yeah, I'm not
which
sure.
we do not have. No, and I'm not saying that you
Yeah.
are, but I think that, yes, I agree. We can look at that in the future, but I do think that, we can make an adjustment to this prior to the motion.
So we have two
Do
adjustments.
we need to have the adjustment verbatim verbiage, or is it something along the lines of?
For this one, I would recommend verbatim.
Okay.
verbiage of the removal of
The
the
60
term
feet.
or
Okay.
activities from that section, and then I would state, I think you could clarify too, whether or not it makes sense to remove the entire max length. Like, since it's not.
Yes.
Yeah.
And rather than just saying get rid of the
Yeah,
60 feet.
Because it's NA everywhere else, so
Remove that requirement, so I would be specific.
just take the whole line out.
Yeah, I understand that. What I'm more concerned of is for the abandoned sign removal. Would you think that would fit to have something that says signs advertising on-premise signs? Because we should just list on-premise signs. I'm just trying to think.
say, on-premise signs advertising places of business which terminate operations shall be removed within 60 days of termination. So just add on-premise at the start.
Yep.
Cross out or activities, and then I think that probably solves all the problems that I was thinking.
Yes.
If everyone's in consensus about the wording, we don't need the motion to specifically say,
Right.
Matt can convey what the two conditions are, as long as it's clear to everybody. with the motion. Exactly.
But thank you, because that does clarify how it should be written. Exactly.
So move that it be recommended to the town council with those two amendments as we've discussed.
We have a mo,
Everyone allowed to help us.
Does it have to say who is responsible for removing the sign? Or is it understood that the
Property, it's the only one we can hold responsible for.
so they don't think?
It would be an enforcement thing.
Yeah, it would be a notice of violation against the property owner, which would be the only proper party to serve a notice violation.
Thank you.
so we have a motion. We have a second. Second. Was that Sean? Second from Sean. All in favor with those two edits that we've been discussing this last few minutes?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? No opposition. So, okay, looks like you have a little work to do, Matt, to get that straight.
That's all right. That's right. That's why we review it, to make it the right way.
And that's why you have multiple people reviewing it, because people look at it from a different
Yep.
perspective.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is just general public comment. But I don't see any general public, so looks like, looks like we don't have any general public comment, and I need a motion to adjourn. Whoops,
No,
okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved from Shelley, second,
Second.
second from Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned. You have a comment, Mr. Brendan?
Yeah.